make sure you've got the right games on your wish list for Nintendo Switch in 2023. And while we're going to go over some popular titles, we're also going to cover some games that you may never have heard of. The first game on our list is Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe, which is actually a remake of a Nintendo Wii game. This game is a 2D side-scrolling adventure that can be played with up to 4 players in co-op. And one of the coolest parts of this co-op is that every player can play as Kirby. Now, in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, this was not the case, so I'm quite excited to play this game with my partner and get to be Kirby. I was Waddle Dee last time. There's at least one new ability called the Mecha Copy ability that makes Kirby basically a mech. He's shooting laser beams, he's got jet boosters for shoes, and it just looks like a lot of fun. As I work through this list, and if you find that you like a game a lot and you want to remember it, you can actually save it to your wish list on the eShop by finding the little heart on the game store page. Search for the game, open the game's page, and click on the heart. And all the games that I talk about will be listed below. I'll actually share their eShop link so you can get right to their store page and save it right there. Mina The Hollower is a game by the people who made Shovel Knight. This game is very much still a work in progress. I wouldn't expect it to be anywhere near the earlier part of 2023, but you should save it all the same. Anyway, this game looks like a love letter to Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy. It's a top-down action RPG where you get lots of items that you can use both in combat and in puzzle solving. When this game was first announced, it was actually a Kickstarter campaign that I made sure to get involved in, and I'm very happy that I did. I've been seeing updates for this game all the time, and it's coming along quite nicely. But like I said, it's not gonna be out for a little while yet. Let's talk about Octopath Traveler 2. The whole premise of what is now the Octopath Traveler series is that you have 8 characters in a story, and you play through each of them individually only to see how their tales then connect. In the sequel, there's 8 new characters to learn about and play as. There's a day and night cycle that can change how characters interact with their story as well as with each other. So far from what we can see in trailers, the combat looks pretty close to what we see in the first game, but I'm sure there's going to be some quality of life improvements as well as some new features as well. One thing I'm really excited for with Octopath Traveler 2 is that the characters are going to do more interaction between each other. Now, in the first game, you would play through all their stories and they would meet up, but they wouldn't really talk too much. There wouldn't be a lot of dynamic in between all 8 of them. And it looks like that's a big focus on this game, so I'm very excited for that. This game's also going to be out on February 24th, 2023, so if you want to buy Kirby or this game, they're coming out on the same day. And while we're talking about turn-based RPGs, we have to talk about a game called Sea of Stars. If you have any affection for the Super Nintendo era of RPGs, then you're going to love how Sea of Stars seems to be shaping up. This game has been in development for a very long time. It's actually being made by the same people who made The Messenger, which is also sort of a love letter to 16-bit, 8-bit era games. That's a ninja action game, but this game is a turn-based RPG with a very rich story, or so it seems. Heavily inspired by Chrono Trigger, which is one of the best RPGs of all time from the Super Nintendo era. And speaking of Chrono Trigger, Yasunori Mitsuda, who worked on the music for Chrono Trigger, is actually making music for Sea of Stars. So if that's not enough of a message to you that this game is going to really hit you in the nostalgia, there it is. This next game is kind of a smaller title that nobody's ever heard of. It's called The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I know you've probably never heard of it. It's a follow-up to that other very small game called Breath of the Wild, and I'm gonna stop this joke. Obviously, Zelda's sequel is coming out this year. I am very excited. Let's talk about why. There's a big focus on aerial traversal, and I'm not gonna get into the lore reasons why I think this is, but it's gonna be really cool to fly around. There was some vertical traversal in the first game, but this game seems to use it as one of its main components. This is easily one of the most anticipated games of the year overall across all consoles, but that's pretty obvious considering how big Breath of the Wild was. People are still finding new ways to enjoy that game. We finally have a solid release date for Tears of the Kingdom, and that is May 12th, 2023. Just make sure you've got this game on your wish list. I'm sure you won't forget about it. Like I said, most anticipated game probably of all time, but still. Everyone's talking about how Tears of the Kingdom might feature dungeons. Well, this next game features endless dungeons, and that's because it's called Endless Dungeon. It's always nice to have a roguelike dungeon crawler in your library in case you just want to play a game that has fun spells and co-op, and this is what Endless Dungeon seems to be. The levels are procedurally generated. There's going to be enemies to fight. I don't know what else to say about this yet because there really isn't that much, but it is coming out this year, so make sure you keep your eye on it, especially if you like roguelike dungeon crawlers that you can play with your friends. Now, if you want more of a challenge in the games that are coming out this year, then you're going to want to play Another Crab's Treasure. Right off the bat, this game immediately compares itself to the Souls-like subgenre. Of course, it quickly changes that to the Shells-like, and there's a reason for that, but we'll get to that in a second. When we talk about Souls-like games, we're talking about games like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Elden Ring. There's going to be a challenge challenge here. One thing to note about that genre is that those games are all very learnable, those games are all very precise with their controls, and they're fun once you get the hang of it. The thing I like about Another Crab's Treasure is that it takes that challenge and that precision and it wraps it up in an actual fun, almost SpongeBob looking world. I have a friend who doesn't really want to play the Souls games by From Software specifically because they look ugly and gross. I know that's a matter of preference, but I understand not wanting to be surrounded by guts and dreary atmospheres, and Another Crab's Treasure is the opposite of that. It also looks as though platforming is another part of this game that's going to be a big focus, and that's exciting to me just because it's nice to have some variety in gameplay. It also seems as though changing your shell is going to change how the game works for the player. Maybe there's different attacks that you can do with the coffee mug shell versus the tin can shell. I don't know yet. I haven't played the game. It's not out yet, but it will be out sometime this year. And make sure you wishlist it. Again, I can't tell you this enough. This next series is one that I haven't thought about in a long time, but I definitely like, and that's Pikmin, because we're getting Pikmin 4. All we really know about this game is that Shigeru Miyamoto made a t-shirt that he's very excited about. We can assume that this game is going to play like other Pikmin games, which is to say that you'll be managing a whole group of different colored little animals that are called Pikmin, and they can do different things based on their color. But beyond that, we can only assume what the gameplay is going to be. All I know is that Shigeru Miyamoto is excited, and therefore I am too. We only just heard about this game for the first time at the end of 2022, so it's going to be interesting to see if it comes out in 2023. If it's been in development, it's been in development secretly for a very long time. But again, Shigeru's involved, and I'm sure they're not just phoning it in. When it comes to what excites me about video games, this next one sort of hits the nail on the head. I couldn't think of a good umbrella pun there, but anyway, it's called Gunbrella. Now, before I go any further, just think about the name of the game, Gunbrella. What could it be about? Maybe you're the best chef in the world, or maybe you're really good at painting. No, this game is about a character who uses an umbrella that's also a gun. Actually, now that I think about it, that's what the penguin from Batman uses. I guess I just really want to be Oswald Cobblepot. Anyway, Gunbrella as a game. There are very moody pixels in this game, and I just really want to play it. There's a heavy focus on stylish combat, and it looks like this Gunbrella balance is going to be a lot of fun to figure out. I'm a sucker for games that look like this, and this is very much my kind of thing. It'll be out in 2023. I just want you to get excited with me. Make sure you wishlist it. Please let it be fun. Please let it be Funbrella. Speaking of pixel games to get excited for, again, I'm a huge sucker for these, and this one is no different. It's called Pepper Grinder. Pepper Grinder is one of those games that I've seen footage of it here and there a lot, and I was kind of saying, hey, when's this going to come out? And now it is in 2023. There's a big focus on fluid movement. You use this gigantic drill to dig through the floor and pop out and then do another dig. It also looks like there's a regular side-scrolling portion to this, not just the drill portion, so you will be playing the game outside of the drill. There seem to be other rideable vehicles, which is always fun in a game like this. That just means there's gonna be more variety. This game will also be out sometime in 2023, so make sure you get it on your wish list so you don't miss it. There are just so many good games coming out this year for all the consoles, so I'm really excited to dig into this list as well as games that we haven't even talked about yet. If there was a gem on this video that you didn't know about, then you're required to like the video, and you have to make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. It's just gonna be one of those years where I'm gonna be buying a bunch of games that I do plan on playing, but then there's an entire Destiny expansion coming out in literally a month, and I don't know when I'm gonna play anything. Having this channel has been a way for me to make sure I play other games, and I think I just need to keep making videos so that I play all these fun games. I love Destiny, but I really need to play Mina The Hollower, please. Let me know in the comments what games you're excited for in 2023. It doesn't have to be a Switch game. I just want to talk about video games. Thank you so much for watching. I love hanging out with you guys, and I will see you in the next video.